Next up, we'll have Greg. You feeling up for it, Greg?
Yeah, that's what.
All my seat for you.
That's right. Let's stand up.
Well, you can plant yourself.
I'll just stand here in the front. Easy enough.
It'll be fine.
I've got some demos which I'm hoping are going to work. There we go. So we're waiting for. Oh, okay. So my name's Greg. I think I know most of you guys. Project I'm working on at the moment is we're testing it's basically a Linux machine which does a whole bunch of stuff. And all our tests are done through, all the Linux prompts is piped through a serial connection. So all our tests are run, we interact with the unit and the test through this doing visa reads and writes to essentially an SSH prompt. That's how the legacy works. The new system has the same functionality, but when we come to unit testing it, that interface is no longer available to us. Because once it's in a housing, there's no output to that. So they were looking at how can we do the testing, but through an SSH connection. Because what we do is we run certain applications, and in those applications, we need to read and write various commands. So it works great with serial, it's fine, data's there, but as soon as you come to doing it through SSH, we have problems. So first of all, what is the SSH? It's a secure shell connection where you can communicate with machines running headlessly or anywhere really. As long as you have an IP address and your port number, you can connect to them. And SSH is enabled. So the uses for SSH, log into remote machines, you can execute commands, you can run applications. It's mainly used, it's used a lot in web servers, VPNs. New Rios you can do that with because they're Linux based. You can also copy files, backup, send files, receive files, and it's just used for general monitoring as well. So doing SSH through a PuTTY session is quite simple. I've got just a Raspberry Pi here, which is the easiest thing I could bring to use. So I'm logged in to my Raspberry Pi. You can get where you are. You can do a list. You can You can change directory. That's all happening in one session. How we used to do it in LabVIEW, there are a few things that we currently do using SSH, like copying, sending and receiving files. We use PLINK, PLINK, whatever it's called. It's part of PuTTY, but you can use system exec. So that's what we do. Now that works great. The problem is every time. So how that works is, I think you spoke about this in your VPS talk. What this does is you write all your commands, whether it be one or many, a list of them. You write into a file, and you send that file over to your remote machine. Again, that works great if you don't care what the response is. So I think I had hang on. Let's go back. Sorry. Yeah, I had a bit of a demo with that as well. That's this one over here. So what this is, that VI, I've got an array of commands, and if I run it, it should be the correct. Yeah, it should work. So if I run that, it takes a couple of seconds to come back. So what I'm doing is running different commands, pretty much the same as what I did in the PuTTY session, and then you can see the responses. So what's happened is it's got what directory it's in. It's in the home Pi directory. It's then changed directory to root, but the next what directory is in, it's still the same directory. So how this works is each command is essentially run in a new session. So when you run one command, the next command starts at the beginning again. So you can't move down the tree, if you say that.
One of the troubles with PLINK is it's inherently insecure because it works off a text file, so you are creating a text file and putting it in a temporary directory. So if you want to do anything interesting, the first thing you're going to do is go su login as root, login as a super user, which you don't have to enter the password that gets put onto this text file.
Yeah,
So
no, I don't think the password gets put on the text file.
If you're doing an SU, because
because you have to do. It asks you for the password.
For good security with SSH, you shouldn't be able to do anything directly from your first login.
Yes, obviously, yeah.
You should always log in, then go in as a user that can do stuff. That's,
I mean,
Linux.
For what I'm doing is testing offline, so it's all pretty safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally, yes, you're right.
It was one thing as I was doing, I was like, oh, this is terribly insecure.
Okay, that is correct. That's that. Okay, so. Oh, not that one. Sorry. Oh, come on. Don't do many of these. All right. So the downsides of using PLINK, however you pronounce it, is each command is in a new session. You need to log in each time you want to send a new file. You need to do the login and log out. It can be used for multiple commands, but there's no interaction. And you also have to use, so if you want to run a script which is in a few directories down, you've got to use the full path. So you can't CD file or folder, CD folder, and then run the script. You've got to use the full paths, which generally works, but some applications, you have to be in that directory in order to run that application. So it's also doesn't work all the time. Oh, not that. So I showed you how it works in PuTTY. You can do a list. You can get the file. You can run the application, and it just works in PuTTY. So I did a lot of searching on the internet. I did a lot of playing around with different files, different libraries, and I eventually came across a library called SSH.net. It is massive. It's a .NET library. The link's at the bottom if you want to have a look at it. And there's not much help associated with the library. So it took a while getting it working. But essentially, it runs on .NET 3.5 or 4. It supports multiple protocols. So you can do SFTP file transfers, you can do SAP, you can do encrypted connections, private public keys, you can set up port forwards, you can do a lot with it. I haven't looked too much at it. I was just trying to do what I wanted. But yeah, it is massive and it's all there. It's all open. The code's all there. So that's what I came across, and I wanted to implement that in LabVIEW. So I thought that this might be able to work. I've used .NET libraries or C# libraries before in LabVIEW, and generally what I like to do is I like to write a wrapper in C# and then call that myself, because then it keeps the LabVIEW code a lot cleaner than using properties and invoke nodes all the way down your line. And it also then it does what you want it to do, because a lot of these applications that you download or these libraries that you can get, there is so much else you can do which you're not really interested in. It just keeps things a bit more tidy. So what I did was I created a class which does your connect, does your disconnect, and does your commands. This way uses streams. Oh, let's go back. So let's go back into here. So the class, or the .NET, we just use it to connect. So it's when you connect, you're creating up a reader and a writer stream. And that's the difference from doing it in LabVIEW. It holds that reference to that connection. Once you've got that stream reference, all you need to do is write and read to that stream, and then you get the two-way communication. And then just execute. Yeah. So an execute command is just writing onto that writer stream, and just leave it, and it just works. So if we open up this one, Nope, not that. What was the IP address? 43239. 43239. So if I run that up, yeah, you can see it's not that secure. There's my password. So hitting connect calls the connect function, and hopefully, with a bit of luck, it will work. There we go. Okay, so now it's logged in. So now what I can do is I can do a what directory am I in? Comes back with its directory. So I can change into, well, let's go to root. So I can now change directory to root and do a list there, and it comes back with all the directories in the root. So by doing it this way, you can actually, you get the response, and you can do a lot more two-way communication with your device or target or whatever you're talking to. So that's where I'm at with that. So the advantages of using it this way is you can get feedback from your remote PC or connection. You can tailor your commands you're writing to your response from the previous command, which you just can't do using PLINK. And you don't have to open and close a session for each command. So you can open at the beginning of your application if that's what you want to do. Interact and then close it, like we do with files and session visas and whatever we're doing with normal LabVIEW, really. So it just works a bit better. What I want to do, which I haven't had time to do yet, is SFTP file upload and download. I'd like to do that as well. It doesn't seem too difficult. I've started it, but got a bit of a path. Linux and Windows use different / backslashes and all of those things I'm busy playing with. The other thing is you can see when the response, not that one, you can see there's a lot of garbage that comes back with it. Now PuTTY handles all of that. It hides the characters which aren't supposed to be seen that I'm not doing. Sorry?
What are the characters?
Well, so you've got, let's have a look. You've got, so I did a list on that folder. So you've got, that's your folder, that's your folder, that's your folder, that's your folder. So I'm not quite sure what all the other characters are. I haven't really looked into it. It's colorings. Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, it's because you get the same thing if you try and use a plain Windows interface with certain things.
Okay.
And you can download an add-on with Windows or a library that takes that out and applies the color.
Okay.
If you do that in PuTTY, you'll get different colors.
Yes, you do. Oh, okay.
That's what that is.
Okay. You're also getting two lines coming back for each. So it doesn't echo. It doesn't. So in PuTTY you can enable or disable echoing. So what you type doesn't get shown, or what you type does get shown to the screen, or what you type doesn't get shown to the screen. So that's also something which you can enable and disable. I haven't really looked at that. It's something I still want to look at.
Should that not be a new line thing? Because Windows might natively send /r/n.
Yeah.
It's expected to send /n. So I wonder if one of those could just be, because if you just plain hit enter, you get that one.
Yeah, it might be. It might be that. Yeah, that's something I can look at as well. And you can also do encryption and private keys, public keys. So that's something nice to add. Not necessarily for what I'm doing, but it's nice to add. Yeah. So having done all that work, it turns out I did it on this laptop, which is LabVIEW 2014. Get back to the office, we're using LabVIEW 2010, which doesn't support .NET 3.5. That's taken away. But at least I did. Yeah.
Don't you upgrade this once every 5 years?
Sorry?
Don't they upgrade this once every 5 years?
I can give you a number you can phone and tell them. Yeah. Yeah. No, we are still running on LabVIEW 2010 for some reason. I've proved to them that it works on the newest version, but they don't want to know about it yet. So that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do.
February 2011.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's very good, actually. That's pretty much
so there's,
what I did.
I mean, that library is huge, as I said, and it's just need to trawl through it to figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it. But I thought it's a start. If somebody wants to have a look at it, go for it.
Yeah, I look at a lot of .NET stuff and I think that'd be really useful.
Yeah.
I really no, I look at it.
And especially now, you said with the new RIAs running Linux.
As I get older, the incentive and the time, you think,
Yeah.
these you young bucks.
It just takes so much time
Exactly. It's
deciphering through what the library actually, how it's written and what it does. It just takes so much time trying to read through the code.
yeah. I remember I was trying to do printing I think, using the .NET thing.
Oh, pretty
It's
much
fun.
on it.
Look, typically, all I want to do is print something out.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
I thought this is really easy because you create a printing object, I think,
Yeah.
from a class. I built that. Book, out comes this printing object. Why hasn't printed? No, all you've done is create a printing object. Now you've got to go and format everything you want to print. Well great.
Yes.
That's so helpful.
Start process, start process / print or something.
It's a huge.
And it's something that's completely illogical to actually what you do.
Yeah.
You expect there to be a particular method on to do it, but method. I remember I did it exactly that, a little VI to print something.
I just wanted to pass a document into a printer object. If I was going to design it, I'd say that's what Windows does. It must be there because you just try and dump it on the printer.
So there you go. If anybody is interested in expanding or playing, yeah,
Yeah, I
no worries at all. I'll put it up somewhere in the
Next time,
guys.
get it working on so we can do that on a radio.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no reason why you
All you
can't.
do is install 2014.
Yeah.
Make an executable that 2010 can call, and you can ping through that.
They have allowed me to use 2012 once, but that's because I proved to them that it couldn't be done. It was 2010, just wasn't capable of doing what I wanted it to do. But yeah, I don't know why. So
But you can make a little thing that's TCP to
The problem
2010.
is, doing
Necessarily long, but it doesn't have to be fast, right?
Yeah,
Putting in the SSL stuff. And I keep going to have a look and see how
But
hard
yeah.
that actually is. I suspect too hard that it's worth doing. But
We've got a project where we've got to have one of the requirements is secure communication between VAs and